The Tinkerer is a bit of an interesting class in Gloomhaven, as it is typically considered a jack of all trades, though it excels at healing in the early game and works well in a support role. In this 4th Gloomhaven Starter Guide video, we'll delve a little deeper into the Tinkerer class with an overview of how it plays. We'll then jump into discussing the starting cards, and finally we'll go over the best starting items with which to equip your Tinkerer. So let's get going. As mentioned, the Tinkerer can do a little bit of everything from attacking with some decent AoEs, to healing allies, to summoning, creating traps, and even a little bit of control. Of all of these though, I'd say healing is the Tinkerer's strongest area. At level 1 he has more healing abilities than any other character, and as such he can be quite strong in larger parties at lower levels. His power curve unfortunately drops off at later levels, so it's best to use him early if you want to use him at all, as early on he can actually be a little overpowered. He has some great lost cards that can do some great damage early on with inflicting negative statuses, and with his large hand size of 12 cards, he can actually afford to burn cards faster than other classes. He also starts with access to 5 healing cards and even an active bonus card that temporarily buffs his healing abilities. Essentially, the Tinkerer can skirt around the edge of the battle, healing and supporting allies until the enemies are lined up for one of his area attacks, and then he can unleash on them with the help of a power potion and eagle-eye goggles for some great damage equal to that of the Spellweaver. As far as his health pool, he is a medium character, with his HP starting at 8. The Tinkerer is an interesting character lore-wise as well, reminding me somewhat of a D&D artificer, preferring to use technology over magic, and Tinkerer is fun to play, especially for anyone who likes playing support classes. My only recommendation is to play him early, as I mentioned, as once you get past level 5 or so, his power starts to drop off compared to other classes. With that said, let's go on over to the cards now and discuss Tinkerer's abilities in more detail. First up, we have Proximity Mine. The top of this one will allow us to create a 6 damage trap in an adjacent empty hex, and when an enemy sets it off, we get 2 XP. This is a loss ability, and while 6 direct damage is great, it can be hard to get an enemy to step on this without using a push or pull, and even then, having the enemy in the right position for the push or pull on the next turn can also be difficult. The best setup would be to have a second character use the push or pull immediately after the trap is set. The bottom of this one is a move 4, which can make this card worth keeping just for the mobility. The initiative is a 62, which isn't quite high enough to guarantee going late. Our next card is Harmless Contraption. The top here is a summons, which in this case is essentially just a damage sponge. It has 6 HP, 2 move, and no attacks. This can be useful if you get creative, as it can prevent some damage and manipulate the monster's movements, but otherwise it's kind of meh, and I don't really use it much myself. The bottom though is a heal 2 at range 3, which can be great for getting in some burst healing when paired with a top heal, or you can even attack and heal on the same turn. The initiative is a 74, which could be useful to help you go late. Flamethrower is our next card, and its top is an attack 3, wound, gain 2 XP, and activate fire. Using the pattern on this card, we can potentially hit 2 adjacent enemies and 1 behind them, making this a powerful card when used right. Though most of the time we'll probably only be able to use this against 2 enemies, it's still worth it for the 6 total damage and 2 wounds between them, and this is also one to consider using our power potion or eagle-eye goggles on for the extra attack power and advantage. The bottom of the card is a shield 1 aura, meaning that we and all adjacent allies gain the shield 1 for the round. It is important to note here though that only allies currently adjacent get the bonus. If an ally moves away during the round, they will lose the bonus. The initiative is another poor one at 47. Moving on now to Hook Gun, the top is an attack 2, range 3, and pull 2, which can be great for getting enemies into your proximity mine, or any other trap on the map, or even just getting enemies away from hurting an ally. The bottom is a loot 2 and gain 1 XP for a loss. Like the Scoundrel's Loot 2, this can be great in the right situation for grabbing up a lot of coins or a chest, but otherwise it can be a waste to use. The initiative here is a 72, which is okay for trying to go late. Next up we have Ink Bomb. The top here is another area attack, except this time it comes with attack 4, range 3, activate dark, and we gain 1 XP for each enemy targeted. With ranged pattern attacks like this one, as long as one of the target hexes is in our range, we can hit all the other hexes in the pattern, which means that we can actually hit 2 targets at range 4 with this one. This pattern also can be rotated as needed. This is a loss ability, but if we can get 3 enemies grouped up in this pattern, this attack can absolutely devastate them, especially at lower levels where this might outright kill them. Remember to use this with advantage when possible, and consider using a power potion to make it even more potent. The bottom of Ink Bomb is another nice move 4 to help us with our mobility, and the initiative is a 74, which is another good number for going late. Then we have Net Shooter, with another great AoE attack on top. This one gives an attack 3, range 3, immobilize, and gain 1 XP for each enemy targeted. With the same pattern as Ink Bomb, this one will work in much the same way, though with the additional immobilization, Net Shooter Top can be great as a control ability to hold down some melee enemies for a turn. This is another loss though, meaning we'll definitely want to try to use this on as many targets as possible. The bottom is an immobilize 1 adjacent enemy and then move 2. This can be good situationally if we find ourselves adjacent to an enemy at the beginning of a turn and need to get away from their next attack. The initiative is a 19, which is actually fairly decent at going faster than most monsters. Now we have Stun Shot. The top is an attack 1, range 3, and stun. Stun is the most powerful control effect as it will prevent an enemy from doing anything on its next turn, plus with the range and being a top action, this ability becomes super useful. And if a ranged stun that isn't a loss ability wasn't good enough, this also has that small attack value as a bonus. This card is one that remains relevant for a long time because of the power of stun, and the bottom is another great move 4. The initiative is another lower number at 20, which would also help us go relatively early. Next up is Reinvigorating Elixir. The top here is a heal 3 at range 3, which is a great standby heal ability. The bottom will allow one adjacent ally to recover all of their discarded cards, and we gain 2 XP for a loss. If this is used when nearly all of our allies' cards are discarded, this is worth the burn as we can give them another whole cycle before they have to burn a card and rest. The initiative is a 37, which isn't low enough to go early, making it pretty useless initiative-wise. Moving on now to Restorative Mist, the top is another heal 3, range 3, and the bottom is a move 2, heal 1 on all adjacent allies. Though heal 1 doesn't sound like much, this can actually be a great way to get status ailments off your allies, while using a top action to heal more or attack an enemy. The initiative is a nice low 17, allowing us to go pretty fast with this card. Next we have Energizing Tonic. The top is a heal 5 at range 2, gain 2 XP, and loss. Honestly, with our other heal 3, range 3 cards, I don't really find this heal 5 worth the burn, though the XP is always nice to have. The bottom is another loss ability for a move 6 and gain 1 XP. In some specific situations we might find this useful, but I find it pretty hard to justify burning a card just for a move, especially considering we are already burning cards with some of our attacks. A move and stun or a move and attack would make more sense. The initiative is a nice 16 though, so it could be worth bringing this card along just for that. The next card in the lineup is Enhancement Field. This one has a top with attack 3, range 3, which makes this a good versatile standby attack. The bottom is another aura ability that this time adds +1 attack to our and all of our adjacent allies' attacks this round. Again, the ally has to be adjacent when they perform the attack to get this bonus. The initiative is pretty bad though, with a 61. Finally, the last level 1 card is Toxic Bolt. The top is an attack 2, range 3, poison, and activate Earth. This is another good standby attack as poisoning an enemy is always useful. The bottom is a strong attack 5 at range 2, gain 2 XP, and loss. This bottom can be great for some late scenario burst damage when we are trying to finish off the last few enemies, but otherwise I'd save this card for the repeatable top attack since it poisons. The initiative is another low one at 18. Now let's jump into the X cards. The first one is Reviving Shock. The top here is a pretty versatile attack 2, range 3, target 2. Early on, this attack can be great for weakening our foes for our allies to move in and finish them off, though it won't do well against shielded enemies. The bottom is another heal 5 at range 2, gain 2 XP, and loss, which leads me to the same conclusion I had for the previous card as far as burning for a heal 5 goes. The initiative is a 34, so this card isn't great for initiative. If we want to swap this one in, I'd say take out either Toxic Bolt or Hook Gun, depending on how we play the character. Next is Volatile Concoction. The top of this one creates a 2 damage poison trap and an adjacent empty hex. Paired with some pushes or pulls, this could be effective since it isn't a loss like Proximity Mine's top, but again, we're dealing with a situational scenario. It's much easier to use Toxic Bolt top for a similar result. The one other thing that should be mentioned though when using traps is that enemies will avoid them if there is another clear path to a target. This means that traps can be used to manipulate the paths enemies take, or even force them to bunch up to get through a narrow gap. The bottom of this card will allow one ally within range 2 of us to recover a discarded card, or 2 cards if we have ice to consume. This isn't a loss either, meaning this could be a great support ability to keep our allies in the fight longer. The initiative is a nice later one at 76. As far as what to trade out for this card if we want to use it, that will depend on our playstyle. If we don't mind losing the move 4, I'd say trade out Proximity Mine, or if we don't need as many heal abilities, maybe trade out Reinvigorating Elixir instead. Finally, we have Potent Potables. The top is an active ability that allows us to add +2 heal to each of our next 4 heal abilities. After 4 uses, the card is lost. This one can be great if we go full healer, but otherwise I'd leave this one out, though it does become more useful once our party has gained a few levels and has higher max health values. The bottom is a move 3, which can help a little bit with mobility, and the initiative is a fairly useless 46. If we want to bring this card along, I'd say take out any of our single target attack abilities, as we are probably going to focus on healing anyway. Alright, let's move over to the items now. First up, grab the Eagle Eye Goggles for the advantage on our multi-target lost cards. Then pick up a Power Potion for the +1 attack to our multi-target abilities. The Piercing Bow should be next to keep our multi-target attacks useful against shielded enemies. After that, pick up some leather armor for a bit of protection, and as far as boots go, either the winged shoes or boots of striding would work well here, and this comes down to your playstyle really. If you are using your burn abilities early on, you may want the boots of striding to make up for the lost movement, but in general, the winged shoes will probably be more useful, as Tinkerer does have decent movement overall. The Tinkerer is a great mix of healer and range damage dealer. If you enjoy a strong support playstyle but still like to dish out some high damage attacks from time to time, you'll like the Tinkerer. Plus, with the largest hand size of 12, the Tinkerer comes with more flexibility than other characters, including the ability to tank for a round or 2 during a scenario, if necessary, by burning a card. The only downside is that the power curve really drops off for the Tinkerer later in the game, meaning if you want to use him, you should do so early on. And hey, if you found this info helpful, please hit that like button, and if you want to see my other starting character guides, check out my channel, or watch this one right here. As always, thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and keep on gaming.